Good morning. Welcome to Orchid Trail. My name is Mark Walters and I'm the Orchid Colonel, and it's a beautiful day here in Central Florida. It's on sunny Merritt Island. And today I'm going to talk about Phalaenopsis. And we don't sell a lot of Phalaenopsis, but they are magnificent plants. My first orchid was a purple Phalaenopsis, and I wonder how many of you all started with the Phalaenopsis like I did. Now, this is a grocery store orchid. I got it at the grocery store this morning, and some folks kind of look down at a common old grocery store orchid, but they're really nice plants. So it comes in this ceramic pot. Now you know what this ceramic pot's called? It's called an orchid killer, and here's why. They hold water. The roots are in sphagnum moss and they drowned in water. The commercial growers grow them like this in these clear pots with sphagnum moss, and they water about once a week because sphagnum moss holds like 50 times its weight in water. So what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to pop it out of the orchid killer pot. I'm going to pull the sphagnum moss off of it, and I'm going to put it on a piece of cedar because they really like to be mounted. And I'll show you some examples that I've done over the years. This is a small plant like this to have two bloom spikes. This is a really nice little phale. And the Phalaenopsis here in Florida will bloom in the spring. They need a cool spell. And in November and December and January here, it'll cool down in the 40s, sometime into the 30s. And that's just right for them to set a spike. So you get all this off, you see the good roots that they've got, and I'm gonna take these guys out because I'm gonna turn him upside down. Now in nature, Phalaenopsis don't grow like this. They don't like to have, or they get water in the crown and hold water in the crown and it'll make it rot. But mostly when they get too much water in the bottom and in the orchid killer pots, they'll die in a hurry. The blooms fall off, the leaves turn yellow and they wither. So now we've got everything together. Now when I get it on here, it's not going to be real pretty because it's been standing up and I'm going to turn him on his head. But when next bloom season comes, this next spring, they will arch out beautiful blooms. Now I've got a piece of cedar here that's just a small piece of cedar, and this is really pretty simple. And I'm going to lay him up about halfway on, and I'm gonna use some more Ernie's wire. I'm still got at least 3 miles left, and I'm gonna wire him on. And in about 6 months or a year, I'm gonna cut the wire off because he's gonna be fully, firmly attached. But this is really the simple way to do this, and it's so effective. And everybody knows simple is good. Now we're all set up for success. And this guy didn't come with a name tag, but that doesn't matter when you got a bloom that pretty and that many of them. That doesn't matter a bit. Now I'm going to do my usual thing here and use the time release fertilizer on him, if I can see to do it. And so now we got a little time release, and that's not real pretty, but we want him to get off to a good start. And so that's the start. Now I know that isn't real pretty compared to what he was, but let me show y'all something. Whoops. This is a Phalaenopsis tetraspis, and it's been on this wood for 3 or 4 years, and you can see what they'll do. They'll grow out. They've got a rhizome too. They just grow slower, and they'll put out babies on the rhizome, basal kikis they call them. And these are a really interesting Phalaenopsis because no two blooms are the same with these. And it hangs up high in the shade house, gets watered a couple of 3 times a week, and gets blown dry by the wind. This is one of my favorite little guys right here. Sooner or later, the 2 basal kikis will bloom, and it'll really be something to see when it gets blooming time. Now this is Phals Sogo Grape. It has a bloom that's so red it glows in the sun, and it's been on this since 2017. And you can see the roots, new roots, old roots, up and down all around on the wood, and it's vertically mounted. And the good thing about this is it saves room in the shade house. Instead of if it was vertical, it saves you room in your shade house, in your growing house. But this is a beautiful orchid, and that's what this little guy will be in a couple of years. Now this is a big Phal, and it's been on here about the same amount of time. And look at those roots. My buddy Dick Wells from Hilltop Orchids in Indiana used to say, if you want big blooms, you got to have big roots. And this guy, when he blooms, is magnificent. I need to cut the wire tie off because you couldn't pull it off here if you tried. But this is a happy Phalaenopsis, and it's a beautiful Phal when it blooms. And if you can't find cedar, this is another alternative. A small basket and tie your plant in. And look at this guy, isn't he gorgeous? What a pretty little Phal. This is Phal equestris. And he's got his time release fertilizer in there too. And you see the roots out and about. This is a wonderful way to grow orchids. Already made. You hang them sideways here in Florida and let the rain wash off of them. But this is a wonderful plant. And you can see the color, it's kind of yellow. So he's getting about all the light he wants. When an orchid's real deep green, they're not getting near enough light. But this is a really nice little plant. Now this is a Brassavola grandiflora from the last time. And you can see the roots it's grown. He really is happy. He really likes it here. Roots growing in, fertilizer up here, so when it rains, he eats. He gets fed. And this is a wonderful, you could probably mount a Phal on this too. You could do it flat or either way if you don't have access to the cedar. So, but that's about all I got for today, and I thank y'all. And I want y'all to come see us at the Orchid Trail. Ring the bell, like us, and come see us. Thank y'all so much. Bye.